ready for Highdeology, you artistic pieces of shit. Highdeology, yo, light your blunts and pack your bowls. Highdeology, bro, burn that shit like acetone. Highdeology, yo, introducing Salty Paul. Highdeology, bro, you can lick it salty balls. You better open up the door, bitch, it's Gorilla. Got your pussy asses screaming like no vanilla. If you're new up in this bitch, then you might be lost. You might just get the shit cannon like Kawaii cost. Give me the lighter, light the cigarette fire. This is the shit we admire. Get the fitness down to the wire. You must be tripping, this ain't easy work. We burning Bibles and Qurans like we TJ Kirk. Because Paul is on a mission, obliterating the tism of this generation of offended bitches and syllogisms, tripping acid, having mystical visions, and staying in the mid, growing older and older while you be shitting. Got your girlie getting wetter, why you still screaming, DP better? I don't really give a shit if you a fantasy, get banned when you mention the manatee, and can it be a little bit of vanity? Got me questioning my sanity, pessimistic philosophy, honestly, I want my Highdeology. Yo, light your blunts and pack your bowls. Highdeology, bro, burn that shit like acetone. Highdeology, yo, introducing Salty Paul. Highdeology, bro, you can lick his salty balls.
Yep. Okay. Okay. There you go. There. Now you can hear me. Yep. You can lick my salty balls. That's all I was saying. That's all you missed. What it do? 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 How's everybody doing today? I hope everyone's feeling wonderful. I know I am. Anyway, yeah, we're gonna watch the debates, a little bit of them at least. I mean, they might be total shit, but you know, we're gonna do a little debate night thing.
Please clap.
And you know, if you guys want to see the three of us, all of the Deep Fat Fried cast members, you can become a patron, because tomorrow night we're the big hitters. We got Creepy Uncle Joe tomorrow night on the debates. We got Bernie. We got Booty Judge. We got Andrew Yang. We got all the big names, basically, except Elizabeth Warren tomorrow night. We're all going to be doing that live for patrons only tomorrow night. So if you've been sitting on the fence about becoming a patron, you know, tonight might be the night to go ahead and just do that. So you're in there. You're good to go. Speaking of which, well, anyway, I need to let me just take care of something real quick. Sorry, little technical problem that I need to rectify. Just take me a moment. So yeah, the debate is what? How many minutes off are we? What are we looking at here? God damn it! Yeah, like 10 minutes. Like 10 minutes off or some shit. So we're going to take a look and see what it has to offer tonight, if anything. Tomorrow at, we said 7:45 p.m. No, that's not what I want. I want 7:45. All right. Just remembered that I'm responsible for scheduling said stream. Deep Fat Fried debate night. Yeah, yes. Okay, we got that scheduled. It's gonna be private, and that's that. Okay. That. Yes, that's fine. Gotta get all this shit done, dude. Gotta get all this shit set up. Okay, we got that. Where do I go from here so I can get the actual advanced settings? That's where I go. Yep. This is where I'm supposed to be. Live dashboard. Thanks. I'll take it. Okay. There it is. View on watch page. Boom. Okay, so now I just got to make that old Patreon post and we're good. And we are good. I'm going to close this out because I don't need it anymore. And I'll probably need to redo this, I'm assuming. Okay, I'll make the Patreon post in a minute. Anyway, how's everybody doing? Sorry. I'm sure that was riveting, watching me stare into oblivion. I'm going to have to go crank down my AC. You can see the sheen on me. I think a lot of that is the fact that I've got this fucking light blaring right in my face, which I'm also going to rectify. This is too much. This is why I don't run a professional live stream. This is why you guys get phone streams more often than not, because this type of shit is just not my wheelhouse, man. Okay, that looks better. That feels better. What was I gonna do? What did I need to do? Who cares? What are they showing here?
Critics thought they were kind of useless. The two frontrunners were Edmund Muskie and George McGovern.
All right, they're doing some stupid, like, old debate coverage before the debate. Fuck it. Yeah, I gotta find out if I'm voting for oh god, what's that dude's name that I really just want to look at his face tonight? I'm trying to remember his name. We covered him on Flash Friday today too. We didn't cover him, but we talked about him. Fuck. There's just this really weird looking dude debating tonight. He's one of the nobodies, but you said you won't vote. Hey, if somebody just knocks my socks off tonight, you know, I might not be able to contain myself. John Delaney, there you go. That's the one I'm looking for. Let me just pull up this guy so you guys can get a preview of what we're going to be looking for tonight. Because I really think, and the reason I'm doing this is honestly because I don't think anything's going to happen, like newsworthy wise on this debate. But I do actually want to see what John Delaney does in person. I mean, you gotta take a look at this guy. I gotta see. I gotta see. I gotta see what John Delaney is up to tonight. I gotta see this face in action. I gotta hear the voice that comes out of this man, because I've really avoided spoilers on this one. You know what I mean? Like, I have never really looked into. I mean, maybe I've heard him on the news or something, but I can't place a voice with this face. I don't know what it looks like in motion. You know what I mean? So that's really why I'm interested in watching the debates tonight, personally. I don't know about the rest of you. All right, so let's do this. Why is this not already working? Okay. Let me get in here. Oh, come on. All right. Give me a sec. I'm just going to text Scotty. In fact, fuck this. I'm going to call Scotty. Call Scotty. Time to give Scotty a call. Come on, Scotty. You gotta answer your phone, man. Hey, there you are. Hey, I'm doing a little Highdeology right now, and I just wanted to let you know I let everybody know on Highdeology that we're doing the special debate stream tomorrow. Yeah. And then I remembered as I was reminding everybody that it was my job to set that up, so I did. I set up the stream. But I don't have the Patreon login, so I was wondering if you could do that for me. Make the Patreon post and shit.
Yeah, just go ahead and put it in Basecamp and send me the link.
Okay.
Yeah, if you just go ahead and do that, that will work perfectly.
Okay, I'll do it.
All right, man. Thanks, dude.
All right, bye. Bye. See, that's how things work. A little behind-the-scenes action for that ass. Little behind-the-scenes action for that ass. Okay. Anyway, how's it? What's going on here? What's happened? Is the chat moving? Is there even a chat anymore? Oh my God. All right. I can see the chat now. Tech support Scotty. Yeah, I know, right? So now I've got another thing that I've got to do. See, he gave me another task for sure. So now I've got to, let's see, now I've got to go here. I'm going to go to Twitter. It's a whole multi-stage process. I'm going to do this because TJ won't give a fuck. He won't know what it is. Paste. Yeah. And send that. Let me click on it to make sure it's the right thing. It is. Okay, and then I got to do my phone. Hit up this. Let's see. Messages. New message. Hey, Scotty. And then Jesus Man. Yep, Jesus Man. And then I'm gonna go over here. See how multitasking I am, dude? Look at this, dude. You see what it takes to run a professional fucking business? Now I gotta open up Twitter. And I gotta go over here to where I DM'd TJ, and I gotta go, oh, here's that link that I sent TJ. Now I'm sure there's probably an easier way to go about this, but copy message, yes. And then I gotta reopen our little fucking work thing, and then go, right, paste there. Okay, and then when I post this, these 4 people will be notified. There we go. Can I post it? Pick a category. It says it's optional, but I'll just put FYI. There we go. Done. Please, for the love of God and all that is holy, just post. All right. Let me just do this. Boom, boom, boom. Save changes. Post. Post. Why isn't it working? What's missing from this equation? Fuck me. All right, I'm just going to send it to Scotty in a text. Hold on, let me see. Maybe I'll figure something out here. Discard this. Can I direct message Scotty on this fucking app? Let me see. There's got to be a way. There's Scotty. Is there a way for me to see him? Error loading activity. Yeah, see? That's what I mean. Okay, I know what's going on. I know the fix for this. Wow, this has been a riveting stream so far. You guys are probably having a fucking fantastic time. Oh, Highdeology. Oh my God, 10 fucking drafts. Post this message. There, we're good. Holla fucking Luya. Okay. And just in time, too, for the debates to start. I think. Am I wrong? Oh my goodness, the anticipation is building.
Missouri and all these other states passing very restrictive laws to go straight at Roe v. Wade. I think that these candidates need to speak clearly on that issue and look like they understand what's at stake for American women, because again, women are going to be the difference in this election, just like they were in 2018 and in 2016 and all the elections previously.
Which is interesting because I think this cycle we've seen a lot of issues.
All right, they're still just jacking off at the jaw. I want to hear the substantive debate. I don't want to hear the punditry, okay? I'm not interested in the punditry. We're here to see substantive fucking debate tonight. And until that's happening, I ain't interested. I ain't interested in listening to these 2 mother gooses sit here and weave a fairy tale. I want to hear what the candidates have to say on the issues of the day. That's why I'm tuning in. I don't know why you are all tuning in. Yeah, Colin, I know. I think I kept a pretty straight face through it, so I'm pretty proud of myself, but yeah. Substantive debate, indeed. Oh shit, they're coming out.
style and they want the substance. But
They're coming
is this
out.
going to be
They're
an
out.
opening night about style? I mean, are these candidates going to try to grab those
Guys, let me know if the
tomorrow morning
volume
headlines?
is good where it's at.
Everybody's going for that.
Everyone
It
agrees
needs to
on
go
that.
up or down.
I
Just
worked for Romney,
Let me
Gingrich,
know.
and Carson. I've been to every single presidential debate with those three individuals. You have to have a moment that tomorrow morning's headlines will say, did you see what so-and-so said? Particularly now, because the media dynamics have changed from 4, 8, 12 years ago.
They're so instantaneous.
okay, tad down on the
I would
volume.
argue it's even changed from 2016. It's a little bit quicker than it
All
was
right.
in 2016.
That should be a little better.
And also now there are a lot of trolls and bots that we weren't aware that they were
Volume's a
trolls and
little
bots.
low now.
And disinformation.
You pieces of
so
shit.
now we have to be on the lookout for that. I think the Democratic campaigns are going to have to navigate a whole new terrain.
Right.
The audio
It's a
you
whole new
included
terrain
is a
that we are
low.
about to
Okay,
see
well
them
I can do that.
navigate
I
as
can
we speak.
change
Guys,
that.
the debate is about to start. You can see those candidates there
No, everybody's saying that's
lining
good.
up
That's
in
fine.
the podium. You can watch this on NBC
gonna keep it right where
News,
it's
on
at.
Telemundo, on MSNBC. We want to give
It
a
was
big
fine
thank you to
before,
Zarina,
man.
Shermichael,
It was
Alex,
fine
and
before,
Jackie.
man.
They're going to stick with us. We're going to have a post-debate show because we will be right back after
Oh,
the
we'll
debate
be sure
with
to
more
not
from our
tune in for
college
that.
panel
I
as
don't even
well,
think we'll make
and
it all the way through the
analyses from
goddamn
these
debate.
guys.
I'll be
But
honest
for
with you.
now, we are going to hand it over to our team in Miami, and we hope that you enjoy watching this debate as much as we will. See you soon.
It's time. It's time.
Please clap.
It is. Oh, this is dead air. This is not good. Come on, NBC. You want to run a fucking debate? You got to get on top of shit like this now.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Lester Holt, and welcome to the first Democratic debate in the 2020 race for president.
Hi, I'm Savannah Guthrie, and tonight it's our first chance to see these candidates go head-to-head on stage together.
Please
we'll be
clap.
joined in our questioning tonight by our colleagues Jose Diaz-Balart, Chuck Todd, and Rachel Maddow.
Why is
Voters try
Rachel
to nail
there?
down where the candidates stand on the issues, what sets them apart, and which of these presidential hopefuls has what
Please
it
clap.
takes.
Well, now it's time to find out.
Tonight, round one, New Jersey Senator Cory Booker, former Housing Secretary Julian Castro, New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio, former Maryland Congressman John Delaney,
Literally
Hawaii
who?
Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard, Washington Governor Jay Inslee, Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar, former Texas Congressman Beto O'Rourke, Ohio Congressman Tim Ryan, and Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren.
All right, we got some Tulsi fans in the chat tonight. They're hoping Tulsi steps up. Well, if you wish TJ was here, as well as Scotty, you can become a patron. We're going to be covering the actual, real, important debate tomorrow. All the front runners and stuff. Beto O'Rourke is there. Hey, maybe he'll step up tonight. I don't know. I'm excited.
Again, everyone, welcome to the candidates and to our audience here in Miami, here in the Arts Center, and all across the country. Tonight, we're going to take on many of the most pressing issues of the moment, including immigration, the situation unfolding at our border, and the treatment of migrant children.
And we're going to talk about the tensions with Iran, climate change, and of course, we'll talk about the economy, those kitchen table issues so many Americans face every day.
Kitchen table issues, bro.
Before we begin, 20 candidates qualified for this first debate. We'll hear from 10 tonight and 10 more tomorrow. The breakdown for each was selected at random. The candidates will have 60 seconds to answer and 30 seconds for any follow-ups.
Because of this large field,
We got your
not
kitchen
every
table
person will
issues
be able to
covered
comment
tonight,
on
y'all.
Every topic, but over the course of the next 2 hours, we will
How
hear
boring
from
can they
everyone.
make this,
We'd also
man?
like to
Kitchen
ask the
table
audience,
issues.
keep
Get the fuck
reactions
outta
to a
here.
minimum. We are not going to be shy about making sure the candidates stick to time tonight.
All right, so with that business out of the way, we want to get to it. And we'll start this evening with Senator Elizabeth Warren. Senator, good evening to you.
Thank you.
Of course you're going to start the evening with Elizabeth
free
Warren.
College, free childcare, government health care, cancellation of student debt, new taxes, new regulations, the breakup of major corporations. But this comes at a time when 71% of Americans say the economy is doing well, including 60% of Democrats. What do you say to those who worry this kind of significant change could be risky to the economy?
So I think of it this way. Who is this economy really working for? It's doing great for a thinner and thinner slice at the top. It's doing great for giant drug companies. It's just not doing great for people who are trying to get a prescription filled. It's doing great for people who want to invest in private prisons, just not for the African Americans and Latinx whose families are torn apart, whose lives are destroyed, and whose communities are ruined. It's doing great for giant oil companies.
I mean, have we heard all this before, guys?
Just not for the rest of us who are watching.
Have we heard all this from the left before? Is this not the standard leftist line?
When you've got a government, when you've got an economy that does great for those with money and isn't doing great for everyone else, that is corruption, pure and simple. We need to call it out, we need to attack it head on, and we need to make structural change in our government, in our economy.
Why didn't you use this time to tell people how you were going to do those things? Because we know we need that shit. Don't applaud her for that, you bunch of dunderheads.
Programs like free college, something you might do if you were, quote, a magic genie. To be blunt, are the government programs and benefits that some of your rivals are offering giving your voters, people, a false sense of what's actually achievable?
Well, first, the economy. We know that not everyone is sharing in this prosperity.
Excuse me, ma'am, there's a presidential debate going on. Could you please get off the stage? Presidential candidates.
Oh, I'm
sorry, Mrs. Klobuchar. I'm sorry. Please continue.
So I do get concerned about paying for college for rich kids. I do. But I think my plan is a good one. And my plan would be to, first of all, make community college free and make sure that everyone else besides that top percentile gets help with their education.
Man, this is dead in the water. I can tell you guys right now, this person will not win the presidency.
There's many paths to success.
She just is not the community. Like, this voice just makes me want to go to sleep.
Pell Grants, I double them from $6,000 to $12,000 a year and expand it to the number of families that get covered, to families that make up to $100,000. And then
God, I never thought a politician would make me wish for fucking more Elizabeth Warren, but here we go.
Because I can tell you this, if billionaires can pay off their yachts, students should be able to pay off their student loans.
That's time, thank you. Congressman O'Rourke.
Rousing applause from this audience on that.
Talking about is how much fundamental change to the economy is desirable and how much is actually doable. In that vein, some Democrats want a marginal individual tax rate of 70% on the very highest earners, those making more than $10 million a year. Would you support that? And if not, what would your top individual rate be?
All right, Beta.
This economy has got to work for everyone. And right now we know that it isn't. And it's going to take all of us coming together to make sure that it does. Necesitamos incluir cada persona en el éxito de esta economía.
What is this, man?
Queremos hacer eso. Necesitamos incluir cada persona en nuestra democracia. Cada votar, necesitamos la representación y cada voz necesitamos escuchar. Right now, we have a system that favors those who can pay for access and outcomes. That's how you explain an economy that is rigged to corporations and to the very wealthiest.
Man, that's cynical.
$2 trillion tax cut that favored corporations while they were sitting on record piles of cash, and the very wealthiest in this country at a time of historic wealth inequality. A new democracy that is revived because we returned power to the people. No PACs, no gerrymandering, automatic and
translation. I want that Latino vote.
And a new voting
Necesitos el Latino vota.
That's how we each have a voice in our democracy and make this economy work for everyone.
Necesito tu vota, señor y señorita.
If you want to answer the direct question, would you
para
support
la
a 70%
presidente
individual marginal tax rate?
Estados
Yes,
Unidos.
no, or pass?
I would support a tax rate and a tax code that is fair to everyone. Tax capital 70%? At the same rate that you tax ordinary income.
So basically, no.
Tax rate up to
basically,
28%.
no.
You would generate the revenues you need to pay for the programs we're talking about.
That's time. Thank you.
Yeah, thank
Senator
you.
Booker, there is a debate in this party right now about the role of corporations, as you know. Senator Warren, in particular, put out a plan to break up tech companies like Facebook, Amazon, and Google. You've said we should not, quote, be running around pointing at companies and breaking them up without any kind of process. Why do you disagree?
I don't think I disagree. I think we have a serious problem in our country with corporate consolidation, and you see the evidence of that.
This guy right here, if you don't know who Cory Booker is, do a little research on him. This motherfucker right here is a snake.
Make a living wage.
This is a corporatist.
We see that because consumer prices are being raised by pharmaceutical companies that often have monopolistic holds on drugs. And you see that by just the fact that this is actually an economy that's hurting small businesses and not allowing them to compete. One of the most aggressive bills in the Senate to deal with corporate consolidation is mine about corporate consolidation in the ag
he does
sector.
have that dead-eyed stare, doesn't he?
About
that fucking
the corporate consolidation,
serial killer edge to his fucking eyes. You know what I mean?
I live in a low-income black and brown community. I see every single day that this economy is not working for average Americans. The indicators that are being used from GDP to Wall Street's rankings is not helping people in my community. It is about time that we have an economy that works for everybody, not just the wealthiest in our nation.
It's about time you get a pair of sunglasses if you ever want to be president of the United States. That you haven't blinked since you started this answer.
As Senator Warren has briefly. Why is that?
Well, again, I will single out companies like Halliburton or Amazon that pay nothing in taxes and are need to change that.
Oh,
and when it comes
thank
to
you.
antitrust law, what I will do is, number one, appoint judges that will enforce
Act like
it.
a normal
Number two,
human.
have a DOJ and a Federal Trade Commission that will go through the processes necessary to check this kind of corporate concentration. At the end of the day, we have too much of a problem with corporate power growing. We see that with everything from Citizens United and the way they're trying to influence.
You don't got a problem if they wanted to cut you a big fat campaign check and buy you some ads on TV, though, would you? I bet you wouldn't have a problem with corporate power then if it was sprinkling down onto your ass, if anybody cared about your fucking candidacy.
Are you picking winners and losers?
So the way I understand this is there is way too much consolidation now in giant industries in this country. That hurts workers, it hurts small businesses, it hurts independent farmers, it hurts our economy overall, and it helps constrict real innovation and growth in this economy. Now look, we've had the laws out there for a long time to be able to fight back. What's been missing is courage. Courage in Washington to take on the giants. That's part of the corruption in this system. It has been far too long that the monopolies.
God, man, she looks like she's concentrating so hard trying to remember all this fucking pre-planned talking point bullshit she's spewing. Look at her, she's like, and I want to make sure that there's nuance in the discussion if we're going to be talking about political capital.
Where I want to start this is I want to return government to the people, and that means calling out the names of the monopolists and saying I have the courage to go after them.
I bet that's just how you delivered it in prep. God, man, is anybody going to go off script and talk like a human being tonight? Never mind. That's a rhetorical question. Don't bother answering it.
What would you do to ensure that women are paid fairly in this country?
Thank you very much for that question, Lester. You know, I grew up with a mother who raised my brother Joaquin and me as a single parent.
Joaquin.
And I know what it's like to struggle. I know what it's like to rent a home.
You know what it's like to be a hypocritical Democrat living in the heart of Texas? You know what it's like to be a blue dog Democrat trying to run on a fucking liberal party platform? Yeah, I know too.
Simply because they're women.
Well, I don't know from direct experience like you do, but I know.
A long time ago, which is to pass the Equal Rights Amendment, finally in this country.
Oh, get out of here.
Also pursue legislation so that women are paid equal pay for equal work in this country. It's past time that we did that. And, you know, we have to do this. If we want to be the most prosperous nation in the 21st century, we need to make sure that women are paid what they deserve.
All right, thank you. I want to put the same question to Congresswoman Gabbard. Your thoughts
Light the
on
virtue signal.
Well, first of all, let's recognize the situation we're in, that the American people deserve a president who will put your interests ahead of the rich and powerful. That's not what we have right now. I enlisted in the Army National Guard after the al-Qaeda terror attacks on 9/11, so I could go after those who had attacked us on that day. I still serve as a major. Served over 16 years, deployed twice to the Middle East, and in Congress serve on the Foreign Affairs and Armed Services Committees for over 6 years. I know the importance of our
I know this is kind of a job interview, but could you stop treating it like one, please?
And for too long, our leaders have failed us, taking us from one regime change war to the next, leading us into a new Cold War and arms race, costing us trillions of our hard-earned taxpayer dollars and countless lives. This insanity must end. As president, I will take your hard-earned taxpayer dollars and instead invest those dollars into serving your needs. Things like health care, a green economy, good-paying jobs, protecting our environment, and so much more.
So many more talking points straight from the left-wing handbook.
You're the mayor of
You name
the
one,
biggest
I
city
support
in
it.
the United States, but it's also one of the cities in the country with the greatest gap between the wealthy and the poor. How would you address income inequality?
Well, we've been addressing income inequality in New York City by raising wages, by raising benefits, by putting money back in the hands of working people. $15 minimum wage, paid sick days, pre-K for all, things that are making a huge difference in working people's lives. But let me tell you, what we're hearing here already in the first round of questions is that battle for the heart and soul of our party. I want to make it clear. This is supposed to be the party of working people. Yes, we're supposed to be for a 70% tax rate on the wealthy. Yes, we're supposed to be for free college, free public college for our young people. We are supposed to break up big corporations when they're not serving our democracy. This Democratic Party has to be strong and bold and progressive. And in New York, we've proven that we can do something very different. We can put money back in the hands of working people. And let me tell you, every time you talk about investing in people and their communities, you hear folks say there's not enough money. What I say to them every single time is there's plenty of money in this world. There's plenty of money in this country. It's just in the wrong hands. We Democrats have to fix that.
Congressman Delaney, do you agree?
Hey, at least he's trying. At least he's got a
I think
tactic.
we need to do real things to help American workers and the American people. Right? This is the issue that all of us here on the campaign trail. We need to make sure everyone has a living wage.
Yes.
And I've called for a doubling of the earned income tax credit, raising the minimum wage, and creating paid family leave. That will create a situation where people actually have a living wage. That gets right to workers. Then we got to fix our public education system. It's not delivering the results our kids need, nor is college and post-high school career and technical training programs doing that. You know, I'm very different than everyone else here on the stage. Prior to being in Congress, I was an entrepreneur. I started 2 businesses. I created thousands of jobs. I spent my whole career helping small to mid-sized businesses all over the country. 5,000 of them I supported. The Obama administration gave me an award for lending to disadvantaged communities. I know how to create jobs. We need a short-term strategy, which is to put money in the pockets of workers with the earned income tax credit, raising the minimum wage and creating paid family leave. And then we need to have a long-term strategy to make sure this country is competitive and we're creating jobs everywhere in this country.
Governor Inslee, how would you address income inequality?
Well, I'm a little bit surprised.
Delaney, that wasn't
I think
good.
plans are great, but I'm a governor, and we got to realize the people who brought us the weekend, unions, are going to bring us a long overdue raise in America. And I'm proud of standing up for unions. I've got a plan to reinvigorate.
Oh, this is the union guy in the race,
so
huh?
we can increase wages finally. I marched with the SEIU folks. It is not right that the CEO of McDonald's makes 2,100 times more than the people slinging hash at McDonald's. And the next thing I'll do is put people to work in the jobs of the present and the future. Look at Donald Trump is simply wrong. He says wind turbines cause cancer. We know they cause jobs. And we know that we can put millions of people to work in the clean energy jobs of the future. Carpenters, IBW's members, machinists. We're doing it in my state today. And then we can do what America always does. Lead the world
They
and
cause
invent the future and
jobs.
put people to work. That's what we're going to do.
Congressman Ryan, President Trump, and you just referred to him, promised that manufacturing jobs were all coming back to places like your home state of Ohio. Can you make that same promise?
Yes, I believe you can. But first, let's say the president came. He said, don't sell your house to people in Youngstown, Ohio. And in his administration, just in the last 2 years, we lost $4,000.
This dude looks like he is frightened to be here, man.
Community. General Motors got a tax cut. General Motors got a bailout. And then they
He
have
looks
the
like,
audacity
have
to
you ever
move
seen an
a
animal
new
run
car
across
that
the
they're gonna
road?
produce to Mexico.
And like you don't hit
I've
it.
had family
I wouldn't bring
members
that up as an analogy because that's horrible. But like an animal that runs into the road and you're like, oh shit, and then it looks and sees you coming and then it darts away and you see those eyes reflected in your headlights. You ever had that happen to you? That dude, right? I mean, deer in the headlight eyes for sure on this guy.
in the United States of America. The bottom 60% haven't seen a raise since 1980.
You're the
Meanwhile,
fifth guy
top
tonight to
1%
say that,
control
though.
90% of the
Tell us
wealth.
something we don't
need
know.
An industrial policy saying we're going to dominate building electric vehicles. There's going to be 30 million made in the next 10 years. I want half of them made in the United States. I want to dominate the solar
How are you going to
industry
enforce that?
and manufacture those here in the United States.
Senator Warren, are they coming back? Are these jobs coming back?
So we've had an industrial policy in the United States for decades now, and it's basically been let giant corporations do whatever they want to do.
That's
giant
true.
Corporations have exactly one loyalty, and that is to profits. And if they can save a nickel by moving a job to Mexico or to Asia or to Canada, they're going to do it. So here's what I propose for an industrial policy. Start with a place where there's a real need. There's going to be a worldwide need for green technology, ways to clean up the air, ways to clean up the water. And we can be the ones to provide that. We need to go tenfold in our research and
Don't you think we ought to work on being the ones not to cause that first?
And then we need to say,
I mean, I'm all for the idea of investing American dollars and cleaning up the mess, but can we not be the ones making the mess?
But they have to be manufactured right here in the United States of America. And
Quit
then
jerking
we have
people
to
off with
double
this
down
shit.
and sell it around the world.
Politicians have been promising that shit since I was 5 years old.
There's a $20 billion market coming for green products. We should be the leaders and the owners, and we should
Then let's
have
be
that
green then.
1.2 million.
Why aren't you talking about cleaning up our own backyard before you start about being the policeman that's going to hoover up all the plastic everywhere else?
Health care right now. I'd really try to understand where there may or may not be daylight between you. Many people watching at home have health insurance coverage through their employer. Who here would abolish their private health insurance in favor of a government-run plan? Just a show of hands, start off with.
Oh, shit.
All right,
What a bunch of cunts.
Senator Klobuchar, let me
That,
put the question
you know what,
to you. You're
dude?
one of the Democrats who wants
Debate
to keep
over.
private
Fuck these
insurance
people.
in addition to a government health care plan. Why is an incremental approach, in your view, better than a sweeping overhaul?
Well, I think it's a bold approach. It's something that Barack Obama wanted to do when we were working on the Affordable Care Act, and that is a public option. I am just simply concerned about kicking half of America off of their health insurance in 4 years, which is exactly what this bill says. So let me go on beyond that. There is a much bigger issue in addition to that, and that is pharmaceuticals. The president literally went on TV on Fox and said that people's heads would spin when they see.
I'm not even hearing what Amy Klobuchar is saying. I'm disgusted right now. I thought every hand on that fucking stage was going to go up.
He came into office.
I literally thought every hand on that stage was going to go up.
In giveaways to the pharma companies. For the rest of us,
that makes me want to fucking puke.
That's what we call at home.
And people want me to vote for this party.
We got nothing.
People want me to throw my fucking political capital behind this party because it's the closest to where I am. Fuck you. There's your party. At least they had the balls to keep their fucking hands down. I would have at least lied.
Senator Warren, you signed on to Bernie Sanders'
Sorry, I ranted my way through A.B. Klobuchar's. Whatever.
Eliminate private plans that offer
kicking it back to Warren again, huh?
Is that the plan or path that you would pursue as president?
So yes, I'm with Bernie on Medicare for all, and let me tell you why. I spent a big chunk
When I was
of my
talking about
life
political
studying why
capital, I meant my
families go
vote. I meant the $1 that my vote is supposed to count for, you dipshit. I didn't mean like I was some fucking pundit.
Bills. And that's not just for people who don't have insurance.
I don't mind ranting through a Warren
It's for
speech.
people who have insurance. Look at the business model of an insurance company. It's to bring in as many dollars as they can in premiums and to pay out as few dollars as possible for your health care. That leaves families with rising premiums, rising co-pays, and fighting with insurance companies to try to get the health care that their doctors say that they and their children need. Medicare for all solves that problem. And I understand.
All right, there's no doubt that Warren is the best person on the stage right now, right? As far as like how she composes her answers.
Really telling you is they just won't fight for it. Well, health care is a basic human right, and I will fight for basic human rights.
Congressman,
I'm not saying she's the best person for the job. I'm just saying on the stage.
A bill that would replace private insurance. This year, you're saying you're no longer sure. Can you explain why?
My goal is to ensure that every American is well enough to live
I
to their
cashed
full
a fat
potential
check from a
because
bunch of
they have
corporations that told me to vote a
In Laredo,
different way.
Texas, I met
So
a young man, 27 years old, told me that he'd been to a
Oh
doctor
my God,
once
give
in
us
his
an
life.
anecdote,
And
please.
On that visit, he
Why
was
don't you
told he
talk
had
about now?
diabetes, he was told he had glaucoma, and he was told untreated because he doesn't have health care, he'll be dead before the age of 40.
Oh, great.
So getting to guarantee
I met a plumber
high-quality
today that
universal
said that he
healthcare
didn't want to vote
as
for you.
quickly and surely as possible has to be our goal. The ability to afford your prescriptions and go to a primary care provider. The ability to see a mental health care provider. In Texas, the single largest provider of mental health care services is the county jail system today. And healthcare also has to mean that every woman can make her own decisions about her own body and has access to the care that makes that possible. Our plan says that if you're uninsured, we enroll you in Medicare. If you're insufficiently insured, you can't afford your premiums, we enroll you in Medicare.
Why isn't Beto care enough to split his answer again and give this whole answer in Spanish?
It works for you and your family.
I guess he didn't care enough. I guess Spanish people didn't need to hear this one from you, huh?
Congressman, but I do want to ask a
What
follow-up
was that
on this
stunt
one.
about, you fuck? They should have dragged you off the stage. Some clown in big floppy shoes should have come with a hook and dragged you off the stage in the middle of that Spanish speech. You shameless fuck.
For tens of millions of Americans, when you talk about the co-pays, the deductibles, the premiums, the out-of-pocket expenses, it's not working.
That's
How
right.
can you defend
for
a
those
system
for
that's
whom it is not working, they can choose Medicare. For the culinary workers in Nevada who I listened to, who negotiated for those plans,
for people.
They're able to keep them.
Why are you
100 million
defending private
Americans
insurance?
say they like their private health insurance, by the way. It should be noted that 100 million Americans. I mean, I think we should be the party that keeps what's working and fixes what's broken.
Please clap.
I mean, doesn't that make
Please clap.
sense? I mean, we should give
Please
everyone
clap.
in this country health care as a basic human right for free. Full stop. But we should also give them the option to buy private insurance. Why do we have to stand for taking away something from people? And also, it's bad policy. If you go to every hospital in this country and you ask them one question, which is, how would it have been for you last year if every one of your bills were paid
You're so right,
at the
Derpalon. This
Medicare
guy
rate?
is a joke.
Every single
This
hospital
debate is a
administrator said
joke.
they would close. And the Medicare for All bill requires payments to stay at current Medicare rates. So to some extent, we're basically supporting a bill that will have every hospital closed. I mean, my dad was a union electrician. Right, I actually grew up in a working
well,
class
that
family.
definitely
He
explains why
loved
your
the
hand
healthcare
didn't
that
go
the
up, you big
IBEW
dopey-looking
gave him.
fuck.
And I just always think about my dad and anything I would do.
You think about
from
your
a policy
dad struggling to make his
perspective.
fucking
He looked at me
co-payments?
And he'd say, "Good job, John, for getting health care."
Because I don't know, my daddy was a fucking union man too, and guess what he did? Struggled to make his fucking co-payments.
Congresswoman Gabbard,
Yes.
weigh in here.
I think we're talking about this in the wrong way. You're talking about one bill over another bill. Really what we're talking about is our objective, making sure that every single sick American in this country is able to get the health care that they need. I believe Medicare for All is the way to do that. I also think that employers will recognize how much money will be saved by supporting a Medicare for All program, a program that will reduce the administrative costs, reduce the bureaucratic costs, and make sure that everyone gets that quality health care that they need. I also think if you look at other
trying to
countries
butt
in the
in.
world who have universal
Shut up, Bill de
health care,
Blasio.
every one of them has some form of a role of private insurance. I think that's what we've got to look at, taking the best of these ideas, but making sure unequivocally that no sick American goes without getting the care that they need, regardless of how much or little money they have in their pocket.
Congresswoman, thanks. Let me turn.
I want you guys.
Senator Booker on this.
I want you guys to
Senator Booker-
notice. She was just giving the best answer that we've gotten tonight, and somebody tried to fucking. I mean, you said she said nothing. She was giving the best answer tonight, the most coherent answer tonight.
Do not succeed at work. It's even a retirement issue because in my community, African Americans have a lower life expectancy because of poorer health care. And so where I stand is very clear. Health care is not just a human right, it should be an American right. And I believe the best way to get there is Medicare for all. But I have an urgency about this. When I am president of the United States, I'm not going to wait. We have to do the things immediately that are going to provide better care. And on this debate, I'm sorry. There are too many people profiteering off of the pain of people in America, from pharmaceutical companies to insurers. Literally, the overhead for insurers that they charge is 15%, while Medicare's overhead is only at 2%. We can do this better, and every single day I will be fighting to give people more access at more affordable costs until we get to my goal, which is every American having health care.
Your time was up before you came to the fucking debate.
And And that is that the insurance companies last year alone
Did you see Bill de Blasio over there?
$23 billion in profits out of the
Put your
healthcare
finger
system.
down, dipshit.
$23 billion. And that doesn't count the money that was paid to executives, the money that was spent lobbying Washington. We have a giant industry that wants our healthcare system to stay the way it is. Because it's not working for families, but it sure as heck working for them. It's time for us to make families come first.
It should not be an option in the United States of America for any insurance company to deny women coverage for their exercise of their right of choice. And I am the only candidate here.
That's what you were poking your finger. Oh, this is the wrong guy.
Protecting a woman's right
I thought
to
that was Bill de
reproductive health
Blasio
and
with his
health
finger in the
insurance.
air.
And I'm the only candidate
That was
who's
Jay
passed a public
Inslee.
option. And I respect everybody's goals and plans here.
My bad.
But we do have one candidate that's actually advanced the ball. And we got to have access for everyone. I've done it as a public option.
This is what you put your finger up in the air to fucking say, dude?
I'm fascinated by this, Senator Klobuchar.
I just want to say there's 3 women up here that have fought pretty hard for a woman's right to choose.
Oh, good for them. You were born with a vagina. How wonderful.
I want to make very clear, I think we share the goal of universal health care. And the idea I put out there, the public option, which the governor was just talking about, this idea is that you use Medicare or
You know what?
Medicaid
Fuck this bitch.
without
I
any
wanna go
insurance
back.
companies involved. You could do it either way. And the estimates are...
Why do we have to stand for taking away
I
something
want to find
from
that
people?
fucking moment.
Congressman O'Rourke, when you approach, in your view.
So we've had an industrial policy in the United States for decades now. And a corporation can cut a million
Where was it?
manufacturing.
Why is an incremental approach in your
Bill says in double less expensive drugs from...
I spent a big say that they
Congressman O'Rourke.
human right, and I will fight for basic human rights. That means their children. With Bernie on Medicare for all,
came into office. Instead, he gave $100 to allow...
It would put essentially everybody on Medicare and then eliminate private plans
Here we
that
go.
offer similar coverage.
I just want to see who had their
Is that
fucking
the
hand in the
plan
air.
or path that you would pursue as
It's after Tulsi. Fuck. I want to find that fucking moment, man. Is that it right there? I think I just saw it. Fuck. I think it's right around in here when this boring.
He said, don't sell your house to people in Youngstown, Ohio.
Yeah, it's right around in here
And
somewhere
his
after this
administration,
dick.
my area where I policy saying
to profits.
here would abolish their private health
Here we
insurance
go.
in favor of a government-run
Let's look at the
plan, just to
roster
show
of
what
traitors.
starting off with.
So Tulsi gives a good answer to the question, but won't throw her hand up when she needs to. Jesus fucking Christ.
Healthcare services, and that includes birth control. It includes
Bye, Tulsi.
abortion. It includes everything for a woman. And I want to add on that, it's not enough for us to expect the courts to protect us. 47 years ago, Roe versus Wade was decided, and we've all looked to the courts all that time as state after state has undermined Roe, has put in exceptions, has come right up to the edge of taking away protection.
Your time is up, Senator.
We now have an America where most people support Roe versus Wade. We need to make that
Senator
federal
Yorba,
law.
thank you. Jose?
Thank you.
Yeah.
I want to kind of come back on a discussion we were having about health and the opioid crisis. You represent a state where 14 of the 20 largest pharmaceutical companies are based. Should pharmaceutical companies that manufacture these drugs be held criminally liable for what they do?
They should absolutely be held criminally liable because they are liable and responsible. This is one of the reasons why, well before I was running for president, I said I would not take contributions from pharma companies, not take contributions from corporate PACs or pharma executives, because they are part of this problem. And this opioid addiction in our country, we in cities like mine have been seeing how we've tried to arrest our way out of addiction for too long. It is time that we have a national urgency to deal with this problem and make the solutions that are working to actually be the law of our land and make the pharmaceutical companies that are responsible help to pay for that.
Listen, something needs to be said about the role of the political class in the opioid crisis as well. And he made no mention of that, by the way, as you noticed.
Of marijuana at a time that more than half the states have legalized it or decriminalized it. And yet, despite what Purdue Pharma has done, their connection to the opioid crisis and the overdose deaths that we're seeing throughout this country, they've been able to act with complete impunity and pay no consequences, not a single night in jail. Unless there's accountability and justice, this crisis will continue. In my administration, we will hold them to account. We will make sure that they pay a price, and we will help those who've been victims of this malfeasance in this country, get them treatment and long-term care.
I know immigration is on a lot of your minds here, and I want to talk about it. We're going to talk about it in a moment. We need to take a break. We'll be back with more from Miami after this.
So does anybody feel like they're really rushing this one along? Like, I know they want to keep things moving, but like, I understand, and there's fucking 20 candidates, so they're trying to get through it all. But man, it just feels like, oh, your time's up. Anyway, what do you think about this? Oh, your time's up. What do you think about this? Just like a fast forward or whatever the fuck. Fuck this. I'm not gonna let these commercials run on my channel for free. Eat a dick. Yeah. And number two, do you notice how much time, like there's 3 women on the stage, right? There's Elizabeth Warren, Tulsi Gabbard, Amy Klobuchar, right? I'm not missing anybody. How many candidates are there tonight? I feel like, and maybe this is just my hurt male ego or some shit, but I feel like a whole lot of extra deference has been given to the female members of the panel. Am I wrong in that? Like, Amy Klobuchar has gotten 3 chances to talk, and I don't think we've heard from Bill de Blasio since his opening statement. Not that I care to. Yeah, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I mean, Warren has definitely gotten pitched the ball more than anybody else. That's beyond dispute, but that makes sense. She's the only one in here that's polling, period. Yeah, I don't know, man. This is, oh, I guess they're back. Wow, short commercial break tonight. I'm for that. Maybe they know the national attention span is 5 seconds now.
We want to turn to an issue that has been in the news, especially this week. There are undocumented children being held alone in detention, even as close as Homestead, Florida, right here, less than 30 miles from where we are tonight. Fathers and mothers and children are dying while trying to enter the United States of America.
Wow, man.
We saw that image.
The Oscar goes
today
to.
It broke our hearts, and they had names. Oscar Martinez and his 23-month-old daughter Valeria died trying to cross the river to ask for asylum in this country. Last month, more than 130,000 migrants were apprehended.
Is this guy running for president?
Secretary Castro,
is this a question
today,
or a speech?
What would you specifically do?
Thank you very much, Jose. I'm very proud that in April I became the first candidate to put forward a comprehensive immigration plan. And we saw those images. Watching that image of Oscar and his daughter Valeria is heartbreaking. It should also piss us all off. If I were president today, and it should spur us to action, if I were president today, I would sign an executive order that would get rid of Trump's zero tolerance policy, the Remain in Mexico policy, and the metering policy. This metering policy is basically what prompted Oscar and Valeria to make that risky swim across the river. They have been playing games with people who are coming and trying to seek asylum at our ports of entry. Oscar and Valeria went to a port of entry, and then they were denied the ability to make an asylum claim. So they got frustrated, and they tried
Commissioner
to cross
Gordon,
the river,
light the virtue signal.
Because of that.
Virtue.
Asylum claims that would put undocumented immigrants, as long as they haven't committed a serious crime, on a pathway to citizenship, and that would go to the root cause of the issue, which is we need a Marshall Plan for Honduras and Guatemala and El Salvador so that people can find safety and opportunity at home instead of coming to the United States to seek it.
Well,
Senator
yeah,
Booker, what would you do
let's
on
make
day
it our
one?
job to sweep
and
that
this
up.
is a situation that the next president will inherit.
La situación ahora es inaceptable. Este presidente ha atacado, ha demonizado los inmigrantes. Es inaceptable. Voy a cambiar este. On day one,
You need
I will
to
make
shut
sure
the
that
fuck
number one, we
up.
end the ICE policies and the customs and border policies that are violating the human rights. When people come to this country, they do not leave their human rights at the border. Number two, I will make sure that we reinstate DACA, that we reinstate pathways to citizenship for DACA recipients, and to make sure that people that are here on temporary protected status can stay and remain here. And then finally, we need to make sure that we address the issues that made Oscar and Valeria come in the first place by making major investments in the Northern Triangle, not like this president is doing, by ripping away the resources we need to actually solve this problem. We cannot surrender our values and think that we're going to get border security. We actually will lose security and our values. We must fight for both.
Jose, if I might, very briefly, and this is an important point. You know, my plan, and I'm glad to see that Senator Booker, Senator Warren, and Governor Inslee agree with me on this. My plan also includes getting rid of Section 1325 of the Immigration and Nationality Act, to go back to the way we used to treat this when somebody comes across the border, not to criminalize desperation, to treat that as a civil violation. And here's why it's important. We see all of this horrendous family separation. They use that law, Section 1325.
So he got himself a little extra turn here by just going, oh,
and so I want to challenge every single candidate.
here we go. It's all coming off the rails now. Now everybody wants an extra turn.
30
seconds.
As my friend here said, I agree with him on that issue, but folks should understand that the separation of children from families doesn't just go on at our border. It happens in our communities as ICE are ripping away parents from their American children, spouses and the like, and are creating fear in cities all across this country where parents are afraid to even drop their kids off to school or go to work. We must end those policies.
He popped his ult.
Immigration in this country,
Okay.
because look at the bottom
Yeah.
line here.
I didn't realize he had. That's a pretty powerful ult.
Tragic photo of that parent, that child.
What's the cooldown on
And I'm
that?
saying this as a father.
Let's see if he can pull it again in the debate. Because if he can pull it again in the debate, he needs to be nerfed.
We have to get under the skin
Pronto.
of why we have this crisis in our system, because we're not being honest about the division that's been fomented in this country. The way that American citizens have been told that immigrants somehow created their misery and their pain and their challenges. For all the American citizens out there who feel you're falling behind, who feel the American dream's not working for you, the immigrants didn't do that to you. The big corporations did that to you. The 1% did that to you.
You're preaching to the fucking choir, man. What are you going to do about it?
People, and that includes a party of immigrants. But first, we have to tell working people in America who are hurting that we're going to be on their side every single time against those
They don't want to hear it.
corporations who created this mess to begin with.
They don't want to hear
And
anything.
remind
The people that are
all of this
hurting
together,
don't want
if
to
we
hear
don't
anything.
change
They want to see
that debate,
action.
that politics that's holding us back. We won't get all
Fuck
these
this, like,
reforms
oh, we
are
want
talking
people to
about.
know
That's
that
what
we
they need to do
know
as
that they're
Democrats.
hurting. Who cares what you know? Do something about it or shut up.
¿Qué haría usted en el primer día si usted es presidente sobre esta realidad que está ocurriendo? What would you do, Congressman, day one at the White House?
Vamos a tratar cada persona con el respeto y dignidad que merecen como humanos. We would not turn back and her father, Oscar. We would accept them into this country and follow our own asylum laws. We would not build walls. We would not put kids in cages. In fact, we would spare no expense to reunite the families that have been separated already. And we would not criminally prosecute any family who is fleeing violence
for the repeal
and
of Section
persecution.
1325.
We would make sure...
Secretary, let him finish, and I will give you his policy. But let him finish. Let him finish.
Ooh, some spice.
We would not detain any family fleeing violence. In fact, fleeing the deadliest countries on
He
the face
popped his
of the
ult
planet
again,
today.
dude. It's off
We would
cooldown
implement
again.
a family case management program so
He's
they could
gonna
be
get another
cared for in
turn.
the community at a fraction of the cost. And then we would rewrite our immigration laws in our own image. Free dreamers forever from any fear of deportation by making them U.S. citizens here in this country. Invest in solutions in Central America.
Dude, he built Max
So there's no
CDR.
reason to make
What is this? What is this bullshit fucking clown build that he's got?
Let's be very clear. The reason that they're
He popped his
separating
ult
these
twice in the
little
last
children
2
from their
minutes.
families is that they're using Section 1325 of that act, which criminalizes coming across the border, to incarcerate the parents and then separate them. Some of us on this stage have called to end that section, to terminate it. Some, like Congressman O'Rourke, have not. And I want to challenge all of the candidates to do that.
Please clap.
I just think it's a mistake, Bethel. I think it's a mistake. And I think that if you truly want to change the system, then we got to repeal that section. If not, then it might as well be the same policy.
Let me respond to this very briefly.
Oh,
As a
no.
member of Congress, I helped to introduce legislation that would ensure that we don't criminalize those who are seeking asylum and refuge in this country. If you're fleeing desperation, then I want to make sure that you're treated with respect.
I'm still talking about everybody else.
But you're looking at just
Is this the
one small
spiciest
part of
it's
this.
gonna
I'm
get
talking about
tonight?
a comprehensive rewrite of our immigration.
Is he about to blow that ult again? Because if he does, I'm playing this character from here on out.
I'm talking about millions of folks. A lot of folks that are coming are not seeking asylum. A lot of them are undocumented immigrants, right? And you said recently that the reason you didn't want to repeal Section 1325 was because you were concerned about human trafficking and drug trafficking. But let me tell you what. Section 18, Title 18 of the U.S. Code, Title 21, and Title 22 already cover human trafficking and drug trafficking. I think that you should do your homework on this issue.
No, Vanilla. Hold it there. Vanilla.
You would know that we should repeal this section.
This is an issue that we should and could be talking about for a long time, and we will for a long time.
Can we talk about the conditions to why people are coming here?
Oh shit! John Delaney popped his ult. John Delaney popped his ult. He's in there.
We have to talk about why these people are coming to our country and what are we going to do to actually make a difference in these countries.
Congressman, you'll get your chance. Let's continue the discussion. Senator Klobuchar,
Oh
let's
shit!
talk about
He whiffed
what
it.
Secretary Castro just
He missed
said.
the skill
He
shot.
wants to no longer have it be a crime to
He missed the fucking skill shot. He popped his ult. He missed the skill shot. He didn't get no
It should be a
time.
civil offense only, and if so, do you worry about potentially incentivizing people to come here?
Immigrants, they do not diminish America. They are America. And I am happy to look at his proposal.
Please
but
clap.
I do think you want to make sure that you have provisions in place that allow you to go after traffickers and allow you to go after people who are violating the law. What I really think we need to step back and talk about is the economic imperative here. And that is that 70 of our Fortune 500 companies are headed up by people that came from other countries. 25% of our U.S. Nobel laureates were born in other countries. We have a situation right now where we need workers
Tulsi
in our
needs to
fields
pop her
and in our
ult, 'cause that-
factories. We need them to start small businesses.
Her
We
hand
need
not
their
going up.
ideas.
That's egregious.
And this president has literally gone backwards at a time where our economy needs immigrants. And so my proposal is to look at that 2013 bill that passed the Senate with Republican support, to upgrade that bill, to make it as good as possible and get it done. It brings the debt down by $158 billion. It gives a path
Yeah,
to
Tulsi's ult is
citizenship
always
for
on. It's like a
citizens, for
passive,
people
and
who
it's
can
always on,
become
and she's the hottest one on
citizens.
stage.
And
You know what I mean?
so much better for our economy in America.
That's time. Thank you. Congressman Ryan, same
But it's not
question.
doing
Should
anything
it be
for her
a
right now.
crime to illegally cross the border, or should it be a civil offense only?
Well, I agree with Secretary Castro. I think there are other provisions in the law that will allow you to prosecute people for coming over here if they're dealing in drugs and other things. That's already established in the law. So there's no need to repeat it. And I think it's abhorrent. We're talking about
Thanks,
this father,
Justin.
who got killed
Dropping
with his
dollars on
daughter.
me like I'm a stripper or something tonight.
And the issues here, the way these kids are being treated, if you go to Guantanamo Bay, there are terrorists that are held that get better health care than those kids that have tried to cross the border in the United States. That needs to stop. And I think the president should immediately ask doctors and nurses to go immediately down to the border and start taking care of these kids. What kind of country are we running here where we have a president of the United States who's so focused on hate and fear and division? And what has happened now, the end result...
This guy can't be president, right? What kind of country are we running here when we got a president that's focused on hate and division? I mean, what are we doing here, guys? We gotta pave a new road, don't you know? I mean, this is like the no chance crew here, man. This is not a good debate.
With the fact that you will have families here. There's been a lot of talk about what you'll do in the first 100 days, about legislation. What will you actually do with these families? How will you care for them? Will they be detained or will they not be?
Well, this is a related and brief point, because what we're talking about, what Secretary Castro and I are talking about, is that we have the power to better deal with this problem through the civil process than the criminal process. I have been to some of the largest private prisons, which are repugnant to me, that people are profiting off of incarceration and their immigration lockups. Our country has made so many mistakes by criminalizing things, whether it's immigration, whether it's mental illness, whether it's addiction. We know that this is not the way to deal with problems. There is a humane way that affirms human rights and human dignity and actually solve this problem. Donald Trump isn't solving this problem. We've seen under his leadership.
Then spend your time talking about that.
We solve this problem.
Spend your time talking about how.
Investments in the Northern Triangle to stop the reasons why people are being driven here in the first place.
That doesn't solve all the problems.
We use our resources to provide health
Throwing money at it doesn't solve the problem. They're still going to want to come here.
People that come here, because we cannot sacrifice our values, our ideals as a nation for border security. We can have both by doing this the right way.
All right, Senator, thank you. Let me go to Governor Inslee on this. What would you do on day one? Same question I just asked Cory Booker. I have yet to hear an answer from anyone on this stage. What will you do with the families that will be here?
There is no reason for the detention and separation of these children. They should be released pending their hearings, and they should have a hearing and the law should be followed. That's what should happen. And we should do what we're doing in Washington State. I'm proud that we've passed a law that prevents local law enforcement from being turned into mini ICE agents. I'm proud to have been the first governor to stand up against Donald Trump's heinous Muslim ban. I'm
heinous. Tulsi's hand not going up made me sad. I'll dig her a grave next to the dude. Go get a Stella Artois, Tulsi. This debate is Warren versus the B team. Yep. I mean, we kind of knew that going in. But yeah, that hand moment was like, this debate was over at that point for me. Last free super chat. YouTube sucks. Love you, man. Thank you, my friend.
And I told him that's not a threat at all. We welcome refugees.
Sorry to interrupt Mike Inslee's virtue signaling answer.
We've built a
well-rehearsed answer.
going to continue if I'm president of the United States.
We're going to switch to another topic now. We've got a lot to get through. Let's talk.
My
we need to talk
grandfather
about.
was actually separated from his family when he came to this country.
We're going to talk about Iran right now because we're working against the clock. Tankers have been attacked. A U.S. drone has been shot down. There have been disturbing threats.
One of the first to make sure that they get a college education so that they can realize their dreams. These are some of the most inspirational people in our state. And I'll leave you with this thought if you want to know what I think. Donald Trump the other day tried to threaten me. He thought it was a threat to tell me that he would send refugees. We recognize diversity.
We're working against the.
Damn it.
It's going to continue if I'm president.
I got to see this again.
We're going to switch to another topic now. We've got a lot to get through. Let's talk.
My
We need to talk
grandfather
about.
was actually separated from his family when he came to this country.
We're going to talk.
You blew it!
About Iran right now because we're working against the clock. Tankers have been attacked. A U.S. drone has been shot down. There have been disturbing threats issued by both the U.S. and Iranian leadership. I'd like if you can just for a moment to put aside how you think we may have gotten here, but what I want to know is how do you dial it back? So a show of hands, who as president would sign on to the 2015 nuclear deal as it was originally negotiated?
My grandfather, excuse me.
Senator Booker, why not?
May I address that?
Oh,
First and
shit.
foremost,
We missed a big
mistake.
moment there. There was another handhold. God damn it. I got to wind it back again. Fuck me. I'm so bad at this.
Show of hands, who as president would sign on to the 2015 nuclear deal as it was originally negotiated? That's
everybody except for Cory Booker.
First and foremost, it was a mistake to pull out of that deal. And one of the reasons why we're seeing this hostility now is because Donald Trump is marching us to a far more dangerous situation. Literally, he took us out of a deal that gave us transparency into their nuclear program and pushed back a nuclear breakout 10, 20 years. And now we see Iran threatening to go further, and we're being pulled in further and further into this crisis. We need to renegotiate and get back into a deal, but I'm not going to have a primary platform to say unilaterally I'm going to rejoin that deal, because when I'm President of the United States, I'm going to do the best I can to secure this country and that region and make sure that if I have an opportunity to leverage a better deal, I'm going to do it.
All right, Senator Klobuchar, I'd like you to answer that question, because you said you would negotiate yourself back into the Iranian agreement.
Was that Delaney again?
That nuclear pact, as it was ratified, was a good deal?
Yes, it was.
It was imperfect.
Who was that?
But it was a good
Yes,
deal
it
for that
was.
moment.
Who was
I would
that?
have worked to get longer sunset periods, and that's something we could negotiate to get back in the deal. But the point is, Donald Trump told us when he got out of it that he was going to give us a better deal.
I'm sorry, guys. You can go watch the stream somewhere else, but I can't listen to Amy Klobuchar anymore. I'm sorry. I just can't do it. I got to take a little Klobuchar break. The pace of this is like, it's making me dizzy. Oh, my grandfather died in the war. Oh, that's okay, Delaney. We got other things to talk about. Now listen. What about this Iran thing? Jesus Christ, man. Whew. I'm starting to get the vibe that I want to hit eject out of this. I don't think I'm going to do it right now, but I'm just letting you guys know that I'm fully starting to feel that kind of like sick feeling in your stomach when you just want to not be watching something anymore. I'm starting to feel it now. I'm really starting to feel, oh, you know what? We're behind. I could actually skip Amy Klobuchar because we're like a minute behind. Ha ha! All right.
Against the American, our troops, then there would
hold
have
on,
to
for
be
the
a
Tulsi
response. But
fans,
my
I'll
deal, their
wind it
issue-
back so you guys can hear Tulsi.
Deal. Would you insist, though, that it address Iran's support for Hezbollah?
Let's deal with the situation where we are, where this president and his chicken hawk cabinet have led us to the brink of war with Iran. I served in the war in Iraq
Chicken
at the
hawk
height
cabinet,
of the war
huh?
in 2005.
Spicy.
A war that took over 4,000 of my brothers and sisters in uniforms' lives. The American people need to understand that this war with Iran would be far more devastating, far more costly than anything that we ever saw in Iraq. It would take many more lives. It would exacerbate the refugee crisis. And it wouldn't be just contained within Iran. This would turn into a regional war. This
No
is
mention
why
of
it's
the
so
Iraqi
important
lives. Good
that
point,
every one of us,
Squirlatosis.
every single American, stand up and say, no war with Iran. We need to get back into the Iran nuclear agreement.
Hey guys,
and we need
can
to
you
negotiate
answer me this?
how we
Because I
can
heard
improve
through the
it.
grapevine
It
that
wasn't an
Tulsi was in the
imperfect deal.
military,
There
but
are
I can't
issues
confirm it.
like their missile development that needs to be addressed. We can do both simultaneously to prevent Iran from developing a nuclear weapon and preventing us from going to war.
Time is up, and I have just a very quick follow-up. Well, what would your red line be for military action against Iran?
Look, obviously, if there was an attack against the American, our troops, then there would have to be a response. But my point is, and it's important for us to recognize this, is Donald Trump and his cabinet, Mike Pompeo, John Bolton, and others, are creating a situation that just a spark would light off a war with Iran, which is incredibly dangerous. That's why we need to de-escalate tensions. Trump needs to get back into the Iran nuclear deal and swallow his pride, put the American people first.
Hey, but wait a minute.
All right, we are out of time. We're up against a hard break, but we will have much more. Mayor de Blasio will have more. The commercial is coming. We will
Who
continue
was
our
that?
questioning
Who was
next with Chuck
trying right
Todd,
there?
Rachel Maddow.
Who cares? Who cares? And the answer? Nobody. That's true. Thank you, Charlie. Thank you, correspondent Charlie Manson, who's there on the stage. Hey, Charlie, who in that audience is actually excited about any of the answers that have been given tonight? Nobody. Whose vote has been swayed to another candidate by what they've seen tonight? Nobody. Let's see. Who's enjoyed one single moment of tonight's debate as it was presented? Nobody. Oh, thanks, Charlie. Wow, Charlie's there on the case, letting us know what's going on the ground. And let me skip away from these commercials and news updates and all the other bullshit. Charlie's the most honest journalist in the building. Yeah, I know. Yuck. This has been a shitty debate, y'all. Yeah, the B team debate. I think tomorrow's debate is going to be way better. By the way, some of you were asking if I'm going to be covering tomorrow's debate, and the answer is yes, along with one TJ Kirk and one Scotty Kirk for patrons over at the Deep Fat Fried Pessimist Productions Patreon. So if you've been sitting on your hands, waiting on a time to become a patron, and you want to check that out, we will be watching the whole fucking thing. The Yang Gang will be there. The Booty Judge Boys will be there. The Bernie Bros will be there. The Biden Bros or the Biden Boys will be there. You know what I mean? Everybody will be there. That's the A-team debate. So, yeah, everybody on the fucking, Patreon gets to watch it. So the $5 patrons, the $10 patrons, it's a patron exclusive. And, that's that. So if you guys are enjoying this and want to see all of us ripping on a debate, there you go. How you like that plug? There you go. See, they're doing a commercial, so I get to do a commercial. I do a commercial for the things that matter. The Patreon, you see. This guy is still going on about Trump's job approval ratings here on MSNBC. I won't bore you with that, but we're not back yet, so we got uno momento o dos para hablar con el debate y escuchar para la gente que escuchar para la debate. Sí o no? What the fuck, dude? What is with this, man? Look, I got no problem with there being like, an easy to find stream, because there's a lot of, non-native English speakers in this country. I think they should make it easy to get translations for all of this shit. But this like ultimate virtue signal of somebody walking up there and speaking Spanish, it's just like, come on, bro. You think that's all it takes to get Mexican people? Like, how insulted would you? I'm not a Mexican, so I wouldn't know, or a Hispanic person of any stripe. But I know that if I was, and a fucking presidential candidate thought that they were going to win my vote by going up and giving a pre-rehearsed, speech in my language. And I know Beto is fluent, but I don't think Cory Booker is. And either way, it don't mean nothing to me, at least from my position as I could imagine it. I don't know. Long, and this is where they're squeezing in the long break. Do patrons get access to a back catalog of the patron material? Yes. Everything is on the Patreon. Everything is tagged, so you'll be able to find all the patron-only episodes for your tier and all that shit. Yeah, you get everything. You get it all and then some too. All right, they're back.
Welcome back, everyone, to the first Democratic presidential debate from the Arts Center in Miami.
And as we continue the questioning, time to get more members of our team in the mix.
So right now, let's turn it over to Chuck Todd and Rachel Maddow. Take it away.
No.
All right, we're going to start by recapping the rules. 20 candidates qualified for this first Democratic debate. We're going to hear from 10 tonight, 10 more tomorrow. The breakdown for each night was selected at random. Now, the candidates will have 60 seconds to answer, 30 seconds for a follow-up if necessary, and we will be ruthless if necessary.
Yeah, we can do that. By the way, hi, Rachel.
Hi, Chuck.
How you doing?
Good.
And we got a lot of ground to cover. We're going to be talking about guns and climate here up top. A whole lot more in this hour. Obviously, because of the size of the field, not every person will be able to weigh in on everything.
I applaud them for their diversity. They do have 2 lesbians now doing the questioning, so that's a step towards the diverse.
And to begin with, we're going to go with guns. And Senator Warren, I want to start with you. We are less than 50 miles from Parkland, Florida, where 17 people were killed in a school shooting last year, and where there has been significant activism on gun violence ever since. Many of you are calling for a restoration of an assault weapons ban. But even if implemented, there will still be hundreds of millions of guns in this country. Should there be a role for the federal government? Everybody's mics are on. I think we have I heard that too. That's okay. I think we had a little mic issue in the back.
Control room, we've got contrary
I think we heard, we have the audience audio.
Oof.
All right.
NBC.
We're from, I apologize you guys didn't get
this. This is worse than a Highdeology stream.
Obviously, we're not far from Parkland, Florida. Gun activism has become a big part of high school life up there in Broward County. Many of you are calling for tighter gun restrictions. Some of you are calling for the restoration of the assault weapons ban. But even if it's put in place, there's still going to be perhaps hundreds of millions of guns still on the streets. Is there a role for the federal government in order to play in order to get these guns off
It's still happening.
What's happening?
We are hearing our
There is a
colleagues'
hot
audio.
mic somewhere.
If the control room can turn off the mics. Yeah, if the control room can turn off the mics of our previous moderators, we will.
I think it's the prior moderator.
You know, we prepared for
Guess what, guys? We are going to take a quick break. We're going to get this technical situation fixed. We will be right back.
Oh, somebody's getting canned tonight. I'm just letting you guys know. This is a big moment for NBC. This is their fucking flagship shit.
Election.
Oh, fuck this.
Continue to follow.
I got like pre-cut. Oh, no. Get out of here. Shoo. No commercials for you. Oh my goodness gracious, dude. That's not good. You know, we can get away with that, us internet show guys. You know, it's kind of expected. We got all this shit to deal with. But oh man, they got a 3.5 minute clock on it. 3.5 minutes of dead air on fixing this problem. Holy shit, man, this ain't good. Yeah, they run a tight ship over there at NBC. Too much pot smoking going on over there, man. Need to stay on task. What the fuck was that? You got me, bro. Dude, I'm just barely keeping things together over here. You know? That's on their end. Bunch of clowns. Yeah. Well, what are you gonna do? Too much coke? Yeah. You're probably right about that. I shouldn't have besmirched weed. Yeah, someone's getting shit canned for this, because like this is not good. Because you know that every article about this is gonna, like tomorrow, is gonna start with technical foibles aside, last night's debate actually, or whatever it was. You know what I mean? It's gonna be mentioned in every fucking article, and that's all this debate's gonna be about. And everybody's gonna be wondering if MSNBC can keep it together tomorrow for the debate that people actually care about. NBC, oh my. Oh my. Someone got fired for that blunder? Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah. Oh, somebody said, somebody said to translate all of that for my Spanish-speaking viewers, so I'm happy to do that.
Tengo un acento del Caribe, no sé, no soy muy específico en esto, pero porque a mí no me importa. Lo único que me importa es que no hablo como americano, porque no me gusta el acento americano en español, es muy feo, y yo creo que la gente no están tratando de perder su acento cuando hablan así.
Okay, so hopefully that cleared it all up for you guys. Hopefully that, you want more John Delaney? You're not the only one, man. I wonder if they're going to let him talk about his granddad that died in the concentration camps or whatever it was he wanted to bring up. We can't see. That's okay. There's nothing going on. They're still gone. It says NBC News now will return in 30 seconds. So we'll see. You missed it. There was some technical. Oh shit! It looks like we're going. Oh no, never mind. We got more commercials on deck. I'll let you guys know when we're back. We'll see. Yeah, they had some technical issues. They had a hot mic in the control room that just kept open, and it was stomping on all. Yeah, it was not good. Not a good look. So we'll see if they recover gracefully out of this. I don't know if you deserve that music after that.
We believe we have the technical difficulties fixed.
Never
right,
say
Richard?
that.
Never say never. But we will march forward here, and I will lean forward here a little bit. Senator Warren, we're going to get to the gun question here. Parkland, Florida, it's just north of here in Broward County. As you know, it has created a lot of teenage activism on the gun issue. It has inspired a lot of you to come out with more robust plans to deal with guns, including assault weapons ban. But even if you're able to implement that,
Chuck Toad.
what do you do about the hundreds of millions of guns already out there? And does the federal government have to play a role in dealing with it?
So in this period of time that I've been running for president, I've had more than 100 town halls. I've taken more than 2,000 unfiltered questions. And the single hardest question I've gotten, I got one from a little boy and I got one from a little girl. And that is to say, when you're president, how are you going to keep us safe? That's our responsibility as adults. 7 children will die today from gun violence, children and teenagers.
Oh, man. No, dude, not this.
They'll die in playgrounds. They'll die in people's backyards. Gun violence is a national health emergency in this country, and we need to treat it like that.
Okay. And you will do
So
what?
can we do? We can do the things that are sensible. We can do the universal background checks. We can ban the weapons of war. But we can also double down on the research and find out what really works, where it is that we can make the differences at the margins that will keep our children safe. We need to treat this like the virus that's killing our children.
You didn't address, do you think the federal government needs to go and figure out a way to get the guns that are already out there?
What I think we need to do is we need to treat it like a serious research problem, which we have not done. You know, guns in the hands of a collector who's had them for decades, who's never fired them, who takes safety seriously, that's very different from guns that are sold and turned over quickly. We can't treat this as an across-the-board problem. We have to treat it like a public health emergency. That means bring data to bear, and it means make real change in this country, whether it's politically popular or not.
Senator Booker, you have a program.
Fight for our children.
Senator Booker, you have a federal government buyback program in your plan. How is that going to work?
Wasn't a bad answer, but
well, first of all, I want to say my colleague and I both have been hearing this on the campaign trail. But what's even worse is I hear gunshots in my neighborhood. I think I'm the only one. I hope I'm the only one on this panel here that had 7 people shot in their neighborhood just last week.
Let's try and
Someone I knew, Shahad Smith,
have a
was
staring
killed with an
contest
assault
with Cory
rifle
Booker.
at the top of my block last year.
I'm not going to blink till he does.
For millions of Americans, this is not a policy issue. This is an urgency. And for those who have not been directly affected,
eyes are starting to get,
they're tired of living in a country where their kids go to school to learn about reading, writing, and arithmetic, and how to deal with an active shooter in their school.
I'm going to have to blink.
This is something that I'm tired of. And I'm tired of hearing people, all they have to offer is thoughts and prayers. In my faith,
thank you for a second. He has to wet him again after all that.
But the reason we have a problem right now is we've let the corporate gun lobby frame this debate.
They're drying out again,
It is time
Cory.
that we have bold actions and a bold agenda. I will get that done as President of the United States because this is not about policy. This is personal.
Thank you, Senator Booker.
Secretary Castro, I'd like to...
Yeah, for anybody that's still here for actual political commentary, it's time for you to leave. I'm making fun of this now because they were asked earlier which among them would give up their private insurance for a public option, and only 2 people on that fucking stage raised their hands. So this is a clown show to me now. I'm not going to bother actually talking about politics anymore on this stream. I mean, I might accidentally as I'm fucking on one of these idiots up here, but as far as I'm concerned, this debate's been over since that fucking moment and has really been doubly over since the moment they brought Rachel fucking Maddow on here, as if she has any credibility as a journalist left to fucking oversee this whole fucking circus. So fuck this. If you want political commentary, go find, I'm sure there's 50,000 other fucking dorks streaming this stupid bullshit tonight. Go listen to them go, oh yeah, Tulsi's position on that, fuck this.
1 p.m., we're going to have a Democratic president, a Democratic House, and a Democratic Senate.
I'm going to let you guys watch this for a fucking second. I'll be right back. I'm going to go get something to drink.
the activists of Parkland, folks from Moms Demand who have risen up across the United States and inspired so many people. You know, we may not have seen yet legislative action, but we're getting closer. The House took a vote. In the Senate, the question often is if the decision is between 60 votes, a filibuster, or passing common sense gun reform, I'm going to choose common sense gun reform. So I believe that we're going to be able to get that done in 2021.
Secretary Castro, thank you.
Rachel, I have something to add to this briefly.
We'll give you 30 seconds for follow-up on that question, on that answer from Secretary Castro. Congressman Ryan.
You're talking about in the schools. These kids are traumatized. I support all the gun reforms here. We need to start dealing with the trauma that our kids have. We need trauma-based care in every school. We need social and emotional learning in every school. 90% of the shooters who do school shootings come from the school they're in, and 73% of them feel shamed, traumatized, or bullied. We need to make sure that these kids feel connected to the school. That means a mental health counselor in every single school in the United States. We need to start playing offense. If our kids are so traumatized that they're getting a gun and going into our schools, we're doing something wrong too, and we need reform around trauma-based care.
Congressman O'Rourke, you're a Texan who's you campaigned all over the state in 2018 in the most conservative parts there. What do you tell a gun owner who may agree with you on everything else? Okay, but says, you know what, the Democrats, if I vote for them in there, they're going to take my gun away. And even though I agree with you on all these other issues, how do you have that conversation?
Yeah, how do
Here's
you
how
have
that conversation in Texas? I shared with them what I learned from those students who survived the Santa Fe High School shooting. A young student named Bree, her friend Marcel, who survived another shooting, the mother of a victim who lost her life, Rhonda Hart. They talked about universal background checks where you close every loophole. We know that they save lives. Talked about ending the sales of assault weapons into our communities. Those weapons of war were designed to kill people as effectively and as efficiently as possible. They should belong on the battlefield.
Oh my God, man. Okay, I'm starting to. I'm really starting to lose steam here, guys. The onslaught of just rehearsed, soulless answers to bland, boring questions. I'm starting to get the fear, is what I'm saying.
Those laws. They're making our democracy work, ensuring that our values and our interests and our priorities are reflected in the laws that we pass.
Thank you, Congressman O'Rourke. Hang on. Let me give 30 seconds. Senator Klobuchar, the Iron Range. I'm curious. Gun confiscation, right? If the government is buying back, how do you not have that conversation?
Poor John Delaney has not gotten I think he's gotten one answer.
But I'll say this: I look at these proposals.
Can you guys remember? Has he gotten one or two answers? It's one of those two. Has he been pitched the softball once or twice tonight? I can't remember. But Jesus, man, they are just. Why are they sitting on Delaney like a fucking egg that's getting ready to hatch? I want to see his face. Yeah, man, I want to watch him. This is like the 15th time they've booted it to Amy Klobuchar. What's she polling at? Can somebody go look that up for me? What is Amy Klobuchar polling at right now? I think it's less than 1%. Why has she been punted the ball 15 fucking times and she's polling the same as John Delaney?
Senator Mitch McConnell says that his most consequential achievement as Senate Majority Leader was preventing President Obama from filling a Supreme Court seat. Having served with Republicans on the Judiciary Committee, do you believe they would confirm your court nominees?
I'm going to use 20 of my seconds just to say there's one thing we don't all agree with when it comes to guns, and I think it's common sense, and over 70% of Americans agree with
John Delaney.
If you need a license to drive a car,
she's polling at 1% or 0% or less than 1%.
And not everybody in this field agrees with that, but in states like Connecticut that did that, they saw 40% drops in gun violence and 15% drops in suicides. We need to start having bold agendas on guns. When it comes to the Supreme Court, very clearly, I agree with my friend, Secretary Castro, we are going to get to 50 votes in the Senate. This is a team sport.
This debate is
Whoever
shit.
is our nominee needs to campaign in places like South Carolina, because we can elect Jamie Harrison. They need to campaign in places
This debate is
like
shit.
Iowa, because we can win a Senate seat there. This is about getting us back to having 50 votes in the Senate and more, so that we can not only balance the Supreme Court, but start to pass.
You got this, Paul. Push through the establishment schlag. Love you, Paul. It's a clown world, and we got front row seats. All right, thank you, my friend. I'll push through. I'll push through for you.
Congressman Delaney, you'll have some time in a moment on this issue. Congressman Delaney, I'll give you some time in a moment. Mayor de Blasio, as an executive in the largest city in this country, you are used to saying what you want to have happen and having it happen. If you nominate a Supreme Court nominee as President of the United States and Mitch McConnell is still
Stepped
Senate
on
Majority
again.
Leader, what makes you believe
Delaney has whiffed his ult
that he would
3
allow
times
you to
tonight,
make a
I think.
nominee?
Rachel, I am chief executive of the nation's largest city, and I also want to just say something quick on the gun issue and come to your question. Look, I run the largest police force in America, too, and if we're going to stop these shootings, we're going to get these guns off the street, we have to have a very different relationship between our police and our community. I also want to say there's something that sets me apart.
You also run a fucking city that has the most complaints made against its fucking police department than almost any other city in fucking America. So that's not exactly a badge of honor amongst liberals, Bill. Just for future reference, you might not want to flaunt that you're the guy in charge of the NYPD if you're trying to get minority votes.
Men in our police, too, as we saw recently in Indiana. So we need to have a different conversation in this country about guns, but also a different conversation about policing that brings police and community together. We've done that in New York City, and we've driven down crime while we've done it.
Shut up.
But to your question about Mitch McConnell,
Punt it to
there's
John
a political
Delaney.
solution that we have to come to grips with. If the Democratic Party
Delaney,
would
you're
stop
mute at
acting
this
like
point.
the party of the elites and be the party of working people again and go into
If they don't
states,
punt it to
including
Delaney
red
next,
states,
I'm
to
just
convince
muting
people
whoever's
we're on
going
their
next,
side,
and I'm gonna talk through
we can
them.
put pressure on their
In
senators
protest.
to actually have to vote for the nominees that
Delaney,
are put forward.
Delaney.
Decent jurists who deserve that right.
Thank you, Mayor de Blasio.
Senator Warren, I'm going to get you. I will get you 30 seconds. I promise. Let me get this question. We're trying. I know you guys. We got other issues we're trying to get to, including a big one coming up in a minute. But Senator Warren, I want to continue on the
way to
Mitch
ramp up the heat
thing, because you have
Back
a
to
lot of
Warren
ambitious
now?
plans.
You just told
You have a
Delaney
plan
he'd
for
have
that.
a moment.
We talked about the Supreme
Where's his
Court.
moment?
Do you have a plan to deal with Mitch McConnell if you don't beat him in the Senate? If he's still sitting there as the Senate Majority Leader, it's very plausible you be elected president with a Republican Senate. Do you have a plan to deal with Mitch McConnell?
I do.
Would chase him into his turtle shell.
Please clap.
We are a democracy, and the way a democracy is supposed to work is the will of the people matters. Now, we for far too long have had a Congress in Washington that has just completely dismissed what people care about across this country. They have made this country work much better for those who can make giant contributions, made it work better for those who hire armies of lobbyists and lawyers.
Yeah,
and
I'm
not
thinking about
made it
voting
work
for
the
writing in
people.
Delaney.
Well, here's how I
just
see
because
this
of
happening.
this.
Number one,
He's been
sure,
buried
I want
tonight.
to see us get a Democratic majority in the Senate. But short of a Democratic majority in the Senate, you better understand.
D
the
is for
fight
Delaney.
still goes
D
on.
is for democracy.
It starts in the White House, and it means that everybody we energize in 2020 stays on the front lines come January 2021. We have to push from the outside, have leadership from the inside, and make this Congress reflect the will of the people.
I'm going to get a couple of you in here. I'm going to get you a couple in here. 30 seconds. Congressman Delaney, you seem to believe you can do everything in a bipartisan manner. Mitch McConnell doesn't operate that way. He operates differently. Why do you think he is going to conform to your style?
I think we need to get things done. That's why I believe we need to operate in a bipartisan manner. Listen, I'll sign into law bills that come to the White House that are passed on a party line basis, absolutely. But all the big transformative things we've ever done in this country's history have happened when huge majorities of the American people get behind them, which is why we need real solutions, not impossible promises. We need to put forth ideas that work, whether it's on health care, creating universal health care so that every American gets health care, but not running on making private insurance illegal. The gun issue is related. The gun safety issue is related because I can't tell you how many times I've been with folks in Western Maryland, and they've said to me, You know, Democrats don't do anything for us. Republicans don't do anything for us. You fight all the time, so they vote on that single issue. If we become the party of getting things done for the American people with real solutions, not impossible promises, we'll be able to get all these things done.
2:30's here. I'm going to say, Senator Booker, 30 seconds.
All right, Delaney. You've had 15 seconds. It's enough. It's enough.
You can't get bills on the floor right now with Mitch McConnell.
Please.
Presidents can't do it. Is President Booker going to get his bills on the floor with Senator McConnell?
You know, when I got to the United States Senate, going back to what de Blasio said, as an African-American man in an African-American dominated community, I knew one of the biggest issues was criminal justice
clap
reform.
for Delaney, dude.
For police accountability, to dealing with the fact that we have a nation that has more African-Americans under criminal supervision than all the slaves in 1850. And when I got to the Senate, people told me we could not get a comprehensive criminal justice reform bill done. As my colleagues in the Senate know, I fought on that bill from the day I got to the Senate, built coalitions across the aisle, and today we passed the First Step Act. It's not as far as I want to go, but thousands of people will be liberated. I've taken on tough problems people said we cannot achieve, and I've been able to get things accomplished.
Thank you, Senator Booker. Rachel's got the next question.
Oh, shit, it's falling apart.
Governor, you're going to be happy with where we go. Governor Inslee, this next question is to you. You got me? Rachel. You got me? You have staked your candidacy on the issue of climate change.
What the fuck is Inslee, man?
It is first, second, and third priority for you. You said it's all the issues. Let's get specific. We're here in Miami, which is already experiencing serious flooding on sunny days as a result of sea level rise. Parts of Miami Beach and the Keys could be underwater in our lifetimes.
He looks like a tanned Lex Luthor.
Does save Miami?
Yes, first by taking away the filibuster from Mitch McConnell to start with. We have to do that. Look at. We are the first generation to feel the sting of climate change, and we are the last that can do something about it. Our towns are burning, our fields are flooding, Miami is inundated. And we have to understand, this is a climate crisis, an emergency, and it is our last chance in the administration, next one, to do something about it. And we need to do what I've done in my state. We've passed a 100% clean electrical grid bill. We now have a vision statement, and my plan has been called the gold standard of putting people to work. But the most important thing on this, and the biggest decision for the American public, is who's going to make this the first priority. And I am the candidate and the only one who's saying this has to be the top priority of the United States, the organizing principle to mobilize the United States so that we can do what we've always done, lead the world and invent the future and put 8 million people to work.
Governor Inslee,
that's what we're going to do.
Congressman O'Rourke, you've also put out a big climate change plan from your campaign. You want some big changes in a pretty short period of time, including switching to renewable energy, pushing to replace gas-powered cars in favor of electric ones. What's your message to a voter who supports the overall goal of what you're trying to do, but suddenly feels as if government's telling them how to live and ordering them how to live? What is that balance like?
I think you've got to bring everybody in to the decisions and the solutions to the challenges that we face. That's why we're traveling everywhere, listening to everyone. We were in.
All right, fuck it. I'm taking another pause break. I can't just sit and listen to fucking Beto drone on. I'm sorry. None of these people is actually serious about climate change, because they would be saying it's already too late and we need to start making a plan as a nation and as a people to preserve our lives for as long as possible, and to figure out if there is a way for our species to survive on this planet, because it's too late. They're all just whispering sweet nothings into your ear with all this, we need to put some fucking wind turbines up. That'll do it. Yeah, that's going to do it. Yeah, dude, fucking 200 years in the future, they're going to be talking about President Beto O'Rourke and his great plan to throw up some wind turbines that saved the fucking world. Are you kidding me? Put a climate scientist on the stage up there and ask them what we should be talking about when it comes to the climate. Jay Inslee was right about one thing. We are the first generation to really feel the sting of climate change. He was wrong about everything else, including that we're the last generation that can do something about it. Sorry, no we can't, and you're not going to get any of that truth from any of these fucking politicians up here on the stage, because ultimately they got to keep this hope thing. How about hope for survival? Because in about 20 or 30 years, there's going to be a very different debate taking place on this stage, if there's a stage at all to debate upon. What a fucking waste of time.
Of the issue. In fact, you know, my first visit after I announced my candidacy wasn't to Iowa or New Hampshire, it was to San Juan, Puerto Rico. Because people should know that if I'm elected president, everybody will count. And, you know, I'm one of the few candidates in this race with executive experience, with a track record of getting things done. When I was mayor of San Antonio, we moved our local public utility. We began to shift it from coal-fired plants to solar and other renewables, and also created more than 800 jobs doing that.
And bought not 1 minute of time for the human species on this planet in all of those half measures.
Thanks. We're trying to rebuild from natural disasters in a sustainable way. That's the way that we're going to help make sure that we're all safer in the years to come and that we combat climate change. And if I'm elected president, the first thing that I would do, like Senator Klobuchar also has said, is sign an executive order recommitting us to the Paris Climate Accord so that we lead again.
Congressman Ryan, I got a full question for you here, which is simply this. There are
they haven't punted it to Tulsi.
Taxing carbon in some way.
And
this
forever.
type of proposal has been tried in a few places, whether it's Washington State, where voters voted it down. You've had the Yellow Vest movement. We had in Australia one party get rejected out of fear of the cost of climate change sort of being put on the backs of the consumer. If pricing carbon is just politically impossible, how do we pay for climate mitigation?
Well, there's a variety of different ways to pay. We talk about different ways of
have this
raising
dude's
revenue,
mic just off.
and I think we've got to build our way out of this and grow our way out of it. But let me just talk real quick to the previous question about real politics. We could talk about climate, we could talk about guns, we could talk about all of these issues that we all care about. We have a perception problem with the Democratic Party. We are not connecting to the working class